Hey everyone, this is Renee Frey, and you're listening to the Conscious Professional Podcast. More people than ever want to be happy in their career and personal life, but they are going about it all wrong. I'm here to set the record straight and emphasize the importance of prioritizing your mindset. I am thrilled you're here. The other day on the highway, I drove past a huge billboard for a college that said in big, bold words, "You are limitless." Yes, we are limitless. But who really believes this so? In your heart of hearts, answer this question for me. Do you believe you are limitless? What was your first response? Was your knee-jerk response no? Or was your response hell yes? If it was no, then we've got some work to do. The billboard really got me thinking. Think back to when you were little and growing up. How many times did you hear, know your limits, stay in your lane, be a good girl, be a good boy? My whole life I felt different than those around me. And those were there were a number of reasons why I felt this way, that I was different from those around me. And one of the reasons may have been because my mom is deaf, and I grew up sandwiched in between two cultures, the deaf culture and the hearing culture. And yes, there is a major difference between these two cultures. Deaf people use American Sign Language, or also known as ASL, to communicate. ASL is a visual gesturing language that relies heavily on facial expressions and hand movements. Deaf people are very visual in how they describe things. When they are describing someone, they describe what they look like, and they're very matter of fact in gesturing the appearance of someone. Whether they're skinny, regular sized, or overweight, I feel ASL is definitely more direct than the English language. Well, around the parts where I was raised anyway. Since I'm bilingual, after I graduated college and was out in the working world, I had some people ask me if I was from the East Coast. When I asked them why they had asked me that, they had shared with me why they thought this, and the reason why they thought that I was from the East Coast is they would tell me that I'm more direct than most Midwesterners. Now, I love the East Coast and I love the people there, but I was born and raised in the good old state of Minnesota, which I'm sure some of you know this because you can hear my really heavy accent. I cannot escape it. People who are deaf are really tight-knit and they have this incredible, strong sense of community. They see being deaf as a cultural identity, not as a disability. They are so tight-knit, they even have a name for me and others like me who have deaf parents. I'm a CODA, which stands for Child of Deaf Adult. I'm sure you're thinking, why do they have a label for that? Truly, I have no idea, but I will tell you there are deaf people who want their kids to marry another CODA. Not all of them, but there are certainly some out there. So as I grew up over the years, I was more direct than most in my communication. I also had confidence in myself. Maybe this is because when I was little, and if we were at a store and my mom needed help with communicating with people, I would jump in and interpret for her. Maybe my confidence came from the fact that my mom complimented me multiple times a day my whole life, which I recently talked about in the episode 2 weeks ago about affirmations. The episode is called Why Affirmations Changed My Life and How They Can Change Yours Too. When I was a teenager, I was a straight A student, but I was feisty. I had no problem challenging authority or going against the grain of what everyone else was doing. I always had this knowing that my life belonged to me and I was in charge of my happiness. And I took full responsibility of that fact. This probably came about because from my perspective, growing up, my parents had an awful, tumultuous relationship. My dad was emotionally abusive, took advantage of my mom. She did everything around the house. She did all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the laundry, you name it, she did it. My dad never learned ASL, which today still blows my mind. It's just unbelievable. And we bounced back and forth from moving with my mom, leaving my dad, and then my mom moving us back in with my dad and moving out again, like a ping pong, a handful of times. This happened throughout my childhood. And with all of this craziness around me, I somehow knew I was in charge of my life. I didn't always fall into line. I was not much of a follower. I'm still not to this day. If I wanted to do something, I would do it and wasn't worried about what others thought of me. This was on one hand. And then the other hand, I really cared about what people thought of me, how I looked, what I wore, that I looked put together. And I think this was learned behavior from my mom. Because no matter what was going on behind closed doors inside of our house, to the outside world, my mom looked beautiful. She wore amazing clothes, had put together outfits. Her hair was always done every day. She wore makeup and lipstick every day. She had it together appearance-wise. She clearly cared what people thought of us, which is normal for most people to do. As human beings, we have a desire to fit in, to be accepted. Another reason I believed I was different from others was that I loved cars as a girl. As a young girl, growing up in the neighborhood that we lived in, there weren't any girls my age, so I played with boys. I rode a BMX bike and I played with Matchbox cars. I still love cars to this day. Fast, sexy, high-performance cars are my total jam. If you and I were riding in the car together, cruising, I could name every make and model of any car that I see on the road and point them out to you. That's how much I love cars. Which brings me to today. I'm diving into one of my all-time favorite topics, which I've covered before, but there's so much to unpack on this topic. I could talk about it in an episode every day for a year and still have more things to share with you. Some of you might think I'm a bit obsessed, but I truly believe that understanding this concept can profoundly transform your life. I'm not talking about minor adjustments. I mean significant, extraordinary, positive changes that will leave you and your life forever altered for the better. I bet you're all eager to find out what the topic that I'm about to share has me so excited today. We are diving in the world of beliefs, specifically limiting beliefs, or also known as false beliefs or lies. If you're not driving right now, take out a piece of paper, grab a pen, and write the word belief down on a piece of paper. Then I want you to look at the word. When you look at the word belief, B-E-L-I-E-F, lie is right in the middle of it. This will be a quick, easy reminder for you to remember and analyze your beliefs to see if they are a lie. Great trick, huh? So many of the beliefs we have and that we hold on to really are lies. Beliefs can be consciously or unconsciously held. And I'm guessing that some of you might not even know what limiting beliefs are. Sure, you know what a belief is. It's something that you consider to be true. You can probably guess at the concept of limiting belief. If we put those two definitions together, something that you consider to be true that limits you. Easy enough, right? But you might not realize just how much these hidden Limiting beliefs influence your life and your decisions. I'm here to shine a huge spotlight on limiting beliefs and help you become more aware of what's going on up in your head, how they impact your whole life through your perceptions, emotions, decisions, actions, so you can kick those lies right out of your head. All right, let's go. If you haven't listened to the previous episode titled Outsmart Your Limiting Beliefs, not to worry, I'll give you a quick rundown of how we learn some of these beliefs. Then after you listen to this episode, you can pop back to that one and take a listen. From the time that we are born up until the age of 7, our minds are accepting and taking in everything around us as truth. We are literally taking in what our parents say, what our caregivers say, the daycare person, everything is coming in as truth. During this time, we don't have cognitive abilities to critically evaluate the validity of all that information we're receiving. We are doing a lot of learning through imitation as well, so we accept what we see as truth and we model our beliefs and behaviors accordingly. This is a survival mechanism. Let me dive right in and share some of the most common limiting beliefs people have. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm too young. I'm too old. I don't have enough time. I'll never be successful. I'm not talented enough. I don't have enough money. I'm not good with money. I'm destined to fail. I must be perfect. I'm afraid of what people think. Notice that these sentences that I shared sound short and choppy, like second or third grade level. Maybe you think these thoughts on a daily basis. I know I used to have 3,000 racing thoughts up in my head at any single given moment, and most of them were awful, negative ones. Why are we so hard on ourselves when we are the most important people in our lives? I'm not sure, but what I am sure of is you can get those nasty thoughts to stop, or at least I did. It takes awareness and effort, but let me tell you how wonderful it is to have positive, encouraging thoughts going on up in your head rather than the shitty negative ones. One of my favorite quotes is the one from Henry Ford, and he says, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. He's 100% true. What if, though, you aren't aware of your limiting beliefs? What if you're not sure what belief is holding you back? If this sounds like you, I encourage you to look at the results you have in your life. Take a step back for a minute and look at your life. Evaluate what you have created in your life for yourself. Answer these questions for me. Are you getting the results you want in life? Or are you just tolerating a certain level of results? Deep down inside your body, do you feel you are destined for more than you have right now? I'm asking these questions because beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions, and habits are all connected, and they determine the results that we get in our lives. Whatever you believe, you think. What you think determines your feelings. How you feel determines your actions or your inaction. Your action or inaction over time become habits. Habits determine the quality and the results you get in your life. Let me repeat that again. Whatever you believe, you think. What you think determines your feelings. How you feel determines your actions. Your actions over time become habits, and habits determine the quality and results of your life. When you know this correlation, you can start to have a greater awareness and pinpoint which areas that you might need to grow in. Most people, when they begin a path of personal development, they start learning new skills. A new skill to get them further along in their career. Maybe a new skill so they can get the promotion that they want. What I can say after years and years of drinking the personal development Kool-Aid is the best place to start is with your beliefs. What you believe is the foundation of everything else. What you feel, your actions, your habits, your results. And when you dive into your beliefs and unpack those and peel the layers of that onion back, you will experience tremendous breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough in your life. Limiting beliefs make us feel pain. They tear us down. They prevent us from going after what we really want. They keep us small. They keep us safe. Total dream killers. It's almost like limiting beliefs keep us locked in a prison or in a cage. And what I wish for all of you is to find that key to that prison and allow yourself to break free. Breaking free will be your breakthrough. You're unable to think differently than what you believe. I want to say that again. You are unable to think differently than what you believe. So you have to go back into your mind further and further and start to slowly unravel those limiting beliefs you've been carrying around with you. And let me tell you, this is not easy. And I'm not just speaking for myself here. Last week, I had a speaking engagement where I had a seminar on this very topic. I was walking through teaching everyone about limiting beliefs. At first, when I had all the participants write down their limiting beliefs, I could see them all thinking really hard to uncover them and try to figure them out. Once I shared a list of examples on the screen, it clicked in their minds. I could see light bulbs going off all over the room. Once you understand what limiting beliefs are and how to uncover and abolish them, you will be on a roll. You'll be like, what? I had no idea that was one of my limiting beliefs. I also had everyone in the room take action in the moment and write a postcard addressed to themselves. I wanted them to write down one thing that they would take action on from what they learned during my presentation. Almost everyone wrote down new thoughts they wanted to take action on thinking. Boom! I was thrilled that this activity clicked for them. It is truly amazing to see people have transformations and a whole new level of awareness and understanding about themselves. When I started on this quest of my personal development, one of the limiting beliefs I uncovered quickly was that I thought I needed to be perfect, do everything perfectly, look perfect. In conjunction with this, I realized I cared a lot about what people thought of me. Caring about what people thought of me was a belief that I was afraid of rejection. As I worked through these limiting beliefs and I started peeling back the onion, going deeper and deeper and deeper, I discovered the core root belief I had at the time. My core limiting belief was I'm not worthy. I conquered this belief a couple years ago. Yep, I'm always working on my own limiting beliefs too. Even right now, today in my life, I'm working on conquering 2 limiting beliefs that I have. I am a complete work in progress. Aren't we all? When I finally believed my new empowering belief that I was incredibly worthy, it was like a total domino effect. I'm not worthy was the core. And once I figured that out, a bunch of the other limiting beliefs were immediately knocked over too. It was not only a transformative experience, it was incredible how fast some of my limitations just dropped out of my mind and life. This core limiting belief of worthiness was also around the time I started to realize most of my life I have been stuffing my feelings. I didn't allow myself to feel my emotions. I would have an emotion pop up, like say, The time I felt scared when I was going to ask my boss for a raise, I'd feel an uneasy emotion in my belly, and then I would discount it, completely ignore it, and just keep moving forward. Not acknowledging my emotions at all. This is no way to live a life. Some of the most magnificent experiences that I've had were some of the most emotional experiences in my life. I wasn't raised to allow myself to feel my emotions. That wasn't anything I ever learned growing up. I even remember in 5th grade, a classmate of mine would tease me all the time, and he called me pizza face because I had really bad acne. Boy, did it suck. Having acne at 10 years old was fucking awful. One day, I couldn't handle it anymore, so after he called me it again, I just started crying. I just started bawling. My teacher calls me out into the hallway and asks me why I was crying. And I said, Lucas keeps calling me pizza face and I can't take it anymore. You know what my teacher says to me? She said, Renee, don't cry. You're showing him that you're weak. Well, guess what? If he saw me as weak, that was fantastic because he never called me pizza face again. He completely stopped calling me that after I cried. God, I wish I would have cried months ago because hearing that every fucking day sucked. When I identified that I'm not worthy as my limiting belief, it wasn't hard for me to see the correlation about my worth to how my dad treated me growing up. My dad didn't pay much attention to me, didn't attend any of my band concerts, sporting events, high school graduation, college graduation, my wedding, nothing. No wonder why I felt worthless. My own dad, who's supposed to be my biggest cheerleader and support me through adolescence and young adulthood, was nowhere to be found, completely absent from my life. And I don't say this for you to feel bad for me. I'm just putting it into context. Digging into all of this, I realized how he treated me, or lack thereof, has nothing to do with me. Absolutely nothing to do with me. It's his problem. It's on him. I have a crazy family tree that most of the time I need to draw out on paper for people to understand. So I'll try to explain and make this really easy to understand as possible as I can. I have 6 half-sisters and 1 brother. My mom was married before she met my dad, and she had a daughter. My dad was married before he met my mom, and he had 5 daughters. My parents got together, had me and my brother. So my dad biologically has 7 kids total. And guess what? I wasn't the special chosen one. I didn't get any of his attention. Nope. He's never paid any attention to any of us. Once I realized I'm not worthy was a total fucking lie, false belief. Now I know the truth. I am incredibly worthy because I'm alive here on this planet and I am here for a purpose. Gosh, even when I say that out loud, it makes me feel so free and I feel it emotionally in my belly. I have this deep knowing this is truth. Every time I squash a limiting belief, my life gets better and better. My awareness, my experience, my level of happiness, my joy, my fulfillment, quantum leaps into new levels. I have mastered conquering limiting beliefs, and through all the years I've worked with mindset coaches, each one expanded my knowledge a little bit more and a little bit more. But then I took it one step further to cement everything in together to conquer limiting beliefs faster. And that is through my personal empowerment formula that I created. It is the whole complete process to transform your life. I actually call it my $1 million method because when you use it, you will not only feel like $1 million, but you will truly be limitless, like that billboard said, and you'll believe it. So the key points from today's episode are: the results you get in your life are determined by your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, actions, and habits. Without confronting your limiting beliefs, they will continue to linger in the background of your life and squash your potential. What you believe is the foundation of your life, which you have the power to change at any time. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Share this episode with someone you love and go make one change to be better than you were yesterday. Live your life with intention. I believe in you. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible. So if you would, please hit the follow button so we can grow our community of conscious professionals. Whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can find the button at the top of the page. See you next week. Cheers. Hey everyone, Renee here again. I'm popping on to share one last thing with all of you. If you didn't know already, the waitlist for my brand new program called Focus has been open for a couple of weeks now. And it already brings me so much joy that I see you guys taking action and hopping on the wait list. If you haven't heard me talk about it enough already, finding a new job sucks. And it's a really long process that most people let drag on and on because they just don't know the right way to go about it. They're throwing their resume at every job they see online, but they're not getting any results. No interviews, no job offers, nothing. So instead of wasting time because you're unsure of where to start your job search, let this program be a proven guide to direct you exactly where you need to be. I've been on the other side, and I know exactly what it takes to get you hired at a company. So what are you waiting for? Hop on that wait list. Grab the link in the show notes of this episode.